All right. Hello, Internet, Gen Con Internet, and everybody in between. We are at Gen Con. My name is Maya. I am the community manager for Secret Hitler and Breaking Games, and I'm here with Pat and Kyle from Mantic Games to talk about the Hellboy board game.
Magic and sparkles.
Yes. Can you give me like a brief rundown on the game real quick?
Hellboy is a game that was developed from the Hellboy comic book, obviously. We did a Kickstarter for it, so it was kind of a big deal. We ended up doing over $2 million, I think, on the
Solid.
Kickstarter. So yeah, it was fantastically successful.
Very solid.
It's the core game is what's out now that we're selling primarily, which is what we have here with us today. It's a game that is going to be based around the four main BPRD agents, which are going to be Hellboy, Liz, Abe, and Johan.
Okay.
And the BPRD sends you into an unknown, creepy, crawly dungeon, and you have to take care of something. And it's going to be based on some case files that show you what you have to do. So the case files tell you how to play the game, how to set it up, and what your enemies are going to be, that sort of thing. But you don't know what the boss is.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mystery on what you're going in for. You just know that there's some scary thing that you got to go take care
Yeah, I was
of.
going to say, because you said take care of, and I'm like, do you
Yeah.
mean like Mafia take care of? Like we're taking care of?
We're going to take them out.
Hilarious. Okay, cool. So you're dungeon crawling, you're taking care of baddies, everything is going on. So what are some of the distinctions between the different characters that you can play?
The characters are unique, so each of them is going to be a little bit better at something that someone else is.
Cool.
And that's represented on their actual character cards. So they have four main stats and abilities that are on here, and they're color-coded. So you'll see on Hellboy's card, we actually have a red, yellow, orange, and orange. And those colors correspond to the dice that they use when you're actually rolling and testing on those abilities.
Cool. Okay, so what is like the order of operations in a turn?
You can do anything in any order that you want.
Oh
which is
my actual
fantastic.
god,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So if
Freedom.
you need to cooperate and Hellboy needs to do something and then Abe needs to do something else, you can absolutely do that.
Okay, so this is a co-op game.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Okay.
only limitation is that each character has 3 activation points they can use.
Okay.
You can spend any of those 3 activation points in any order you want.
Right.
So I can do something, you can do something, we can go back to B, and then we can play again.
That's tight. Honestly, I love cooperative games. I feel like when you work together to defeat a goal, it's like, whew,
Yes.
winning the game is so satisfying. Okay, so you said that these colors would correspond to the dice over there, right?
Yeah.
So what do the dice mean?
So you have 3 different colored dice. You have yellow, which is not so good.
Oh no.
There's not so many pips on this
Oh,
one.
yikes.
Orange, which is kind of a medium,
Okay.
and then red, which is very good. You do have a black set of dice, but these are special. You can only get when you upgrade your dice.
Those look
using
scary.
Special,
They're a
using
little
your
scary.
insight token
They
stuff.
look terrifying. And then you were telling me some cool stuff about the dice earlier.
Oh yeah,
something
so because we've realized that these are color-coordinated dice, some people might not, are colorblind, might know the dice they're rolling. The pips also coincide to the symbols, the shapes of the symbols on their character cards. So
Awesome.
the yellows are circles, the orange are squares, and the reds are hexes.
Okay, I think that's really awesome that you guys have worked towards accessibility for your game. I feel like accessibility in board games is really important right now.
Yes.
I'm working at Secret Hitler, and we're actually trying to have our next print have Braille for the visual
Yeah,
impact
that's
version,
interesting.
So that's pretty cool. Awesome. So wait, what's that? What's the fancy?
This blue
one
dice,
over there?
this
Yeah, what's
is the
that?
chaos dice.
Oh,
You roll
great.
this whenever you do every test. There's 5 good things and 1 really bad thing.
One really bad thing.
So, or the skull.
Oh, good God!
So-
What are some of the other symbols out there? There's like some.
Do you have the thing?
Yeah, you get bonus to your
Okay.
roll. You might just add 1 to the actual result. You might add 2. You might get to re-roll any number of the dice that you have.
What are some
Uh,
examples of the bad things that happen?
The bad things are pretty varied, actually.
Oh,
The-
really?
The most important thing that you would see is that the highest roll on your die gets taken away.
No.
So if you roll a 1, 2, and a 3, that 3 goes away.
Oh, the worst.
Which is pretty bad.
That's like one of the
Also,
worst.
depending on the weapon that you use, there can be some other bad things that happen. So,
You're
say
right.
for example, Hellboy shoots his pistol, you roll the skull along with it, then all of a sudden he's out of ammo.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Get your stuff together, Hellboy.
the game tries to throw difficult situations at you, and then you have to find ways to sort of bounce back from those difficulties.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, which are what are some typical obstacles that you might face in this game on your way to the big baddie? What are some of the like steps to get there?
As you go through and explore the rooms, the cards that you run into inside the rooms are going to tell you how to populate what's in there.
Tight, okay.
Sometimes there's good things, sometimes there's bad things.
So that's what these encounter
Yeah,
cards are?
yeah, the encounter cards will tell you that. So as you enter a room, you'll flip these over, and it'll actually tell you how to populate the room. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, and 4 listed there.
I see that.
The deck will tell you how to shuffle these and place them throughout the room. So you don't know what it's going to be. And what's great about that is that every time that you play the game, because you shuffle this, it's going to be a different experience,
Oh,
even if you
that's
play
the
the
best.
same mission again.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Okay, and so those are, you were pointing to some little chits over there. Those are the things that you encounter?
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are the clues that you're looking for.
Okay.
These are wound markers, and these are fire markers when you light the rooms up.
So in the case of this card here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. You would do 1 for the first space closest to you,
Right.
2, and then 3, and then 4. So you just sort of bounce back and forth.
Okay.
In some rooms where there are 4 tiles, you would actually populate the whole room.
What
so
is that? I cannot read that word at all. What's it? Can you pass me that little
first one
card?
is clue.
Yeah, first one's clue. Second one is scenery. Oh, there's scenery?
There's
Yeah.
scenery.
So
going on
there's some
with the
cardboard
scenery?
cutouts that we have.
One of Hellboy's special powers is that he can throw scenery.
He can throw
Yeah,
scenery?
he'll pick up a desk and throw it in them.
This is like a book.
Yeah.
So Hellboy is just like,
You got
You can pick up the book and
screw
just
you
shove it.
guys, I'm throwing a
Tables.
book at your face.
tables,
Okay, cool. I'm
chairs,
gonna play this
Angry
game.
bookcases.
librarian.
Fantastic. I would absolutely play this game so I could throw chairs at people. That sounds fantastic. All right. And so are there always 4, or is it just like
Always 4.
always 4?
There's 4 slots. There might be
Depending on what the slot is going to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's always like 4
There could
things
be
that you encounter.
more things in each of those numbers.
Okay.
So you might say clue in space 1, for
I see.
example. Yeah.
Okay. So what are these little doodads?
Those are
Little
your,
buddies?
your actual activations.
Those
So
are
we
the
talked
3.
about-
You were talking
Yes.
about
Yep.
passing them to other people.
Yeah, when you spend them, you'll say, I'm going to do this one action, and
Okay.
that's how you keep track. It's just an easier way to...
So if you were going to have someone else do an action on your turn, would you give them one of those little doodads?
No. If you were we decide that, all right,
Okay.
Hellboy's going to open the door.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm gonna shoot the monster in so he can go to the next guy and
Good
punch
plan.
him. So you would spend your action point. Then I'd say, all right, let me do my thing.
Okay.
I'll spend my action point. Then we go back to you. Then you spend your action point.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
you're just limited to the amount of action points that you have.
Yeah, right. Okay.
There's 3 every round.
3 every round.
The basic things that you would do is move. That would
Okay.
cause one of the cubes. You could shoot. That would be 1. That'd be fight. That would be 1. And in some instances, Hellboy could fight. If he's really got to take something out, you could fight 3
gotta go.
times.
We
if
gotta
you
fight
want
right
to.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. You also would examine. So for the clues, for example, you need to find out what the clue is. So you have to spend an action cube to actually do an examine test. And how you would know if you actually succeed is you would compare that to their stats, like we
Okay.
said before. So the orange for Hellboy on that eyeball, that's his examine test.
Okay.
So he would roll the 3 orange dice and always the blue one.
Okay, right.
So the blue one always gives you that wild card.
Ah, the chaos dice.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's really stressful. Okay. So what are some of the advantages that each character has? You said they all have different advantages. Like what's
Yeah.
What's Hellboy's advantage?
Hellboy
He's just like a
is
tank.
well, he is very good at
Yes.
punching things. Obviously, that's
Gotta
that's
punch.
his thing.
Gotta throw
Um,
books. Gotta punch.
Got to punch. He's not very good at shooting things.
Okay.
So those are his primary strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he's pretty good at investigating because he has a special rule called "Seen It All Before."
Okay.
So obviously Hellboy's been around. He has been doing this for quite some time, and
Right.
he is not of this world. So he has seen a lot of things. And he's sort of got an instinct for it.
He
so
has
he gets
seen some things.
yeah.
Yes.
So he
He's been
gets a little
around.
bit of an upgrade when he does his examine tests
Crazy.
as well.
Okay.
That's something that makes him good.
What about our lovely fish man
Abe?
over here?
Abe.
Yes.
Yeah.
what
So
does he
every
do?
character has unique actions
Mhm.
that cost your action points.
Okay.
And they have special rules, like you said, with the thing. So Abe basically can do a lot of shooting. He's a real good shot, so he can do a precision shot, so he can shoot past someone. Because when you shoot with someone in the same thing, you have a chance to hit that same person.
Right.
So
Can he do a lot of like slinking?
he can actually.
Like
He's
fish,
very
fish
slippery.
slinking?
He can
So he can move
slide
faster
by.
than everybody else too. So he
Excellent.
can move 3 spaces opposed to the normal 2. And then when he moves through spaces that have enemies in them, he doesn't take any damage. Where other
doesn't take
people,
any-
right? He literally just sneaks on by.
I
So-
literally just pictured him like rolling down a hill and like bowling down enemies. Is that like a thing that you can do? Just like roll down an alley?
Not quite.
Not at this
No?
point.
Yeah.
Expansion.
Yes.
Okay, and then who are the other 2? You didn't mention them.
Liz and Johan.
Liz and Johan. What's going on with Liz and Johan?
Liz likes to light stuff on fire.
Excellent.
So-
She's a pyrotechnic, I guess they call it.
Pyrokinetic.
Pyrokinesis?
Yeah,
Pyromaniac.
pyrokinetic.
She
Kinetic,
launches
right?
fire.
she
from
loves
her hands.
fire.
Yeah. So she's got a really fun mechanic where as she goes through the game and takes damage, or even herself, she can stoke the flame. So she can sort of build up her flame abilities and raises on her, and that can be a really powerful attack. So you can go up to 5, where you would just add 5 to your total on your dice roll, and that could knock something out really quick. So
But
she's
not
great.
the chaos dice?
The
Yes.
chaos dice would still
Good
affect
night.
it.
Oh my
but-
god, the chaos dice!
Yeah.
Get out of my life, Chaos Dice. I'm like already stressed about the Chaos Dice.
The danger with her though is that if you have that number really high and then she takes damage
And then
it
the Chaos
goes
Dice is
over.
like...
Yeah, that Chaos Dice too. She would blow up though and light the room on fire and cause damage to everybody around her. So you gotta kind of balance her.
Okay, that's okay. And then what's going on with Johan?
Johan is incredible at investigations. Dude is smart.
He's smart.
So
And he's ethereal.
yeah.
And he's ethereal?
Yeah, yeah.
That seems unfair.
He's got an ability where he doesn't even have to like walk through the rooms. He could literally like teleport to another room and investigate over there, and then teleport back. So it's kind of fun
That is great.
to send him off on his
Is
own.
he
But it's
the only
dangerous.
one who's able to teleport like that?
Yes, but like Liz, he has a track marker that he has to try and keep his form, because if he takes too much damage, he just collapses into gas.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Not good for him.
That's real bad. Okay.
So
So are these skills based on some of the things that they do in the comic? Like, are these like canon skills?
100%.
Do you, if you play this game, do you have to be a Hellboy fan, or do you think you can get through it without it, or do you think, like, if you were a Hellboy fan, would you have an advantage over non-Hellboy
If you're a Hellboy
fans?
fan, I think that you're just going to appreciate it a little bit more.
Yes.
But you don't need to be a Hellboy fan by any means.
Yeah.
In fact, I've had friends that I've introduced the game to and we've played with that have now gotten into Hellboy
Nice.
because of the game.
That's
so
great.
yeah.
Even if you just seen the movies, you'll have a nice appreciation for it, because a lot of people have just only seen the movies.
Yeah, right.
And so it goes hand to hand with the movies also. So.
Okay. How easy is the game to get into?
It's a pretty simple thing to pick up. The
Cool.
demo mission really tells you exactly what you need to know.
Okay.
And it only takes a couple of minutes to get through the demo mission, so it's not too bad to sort of get a grasp on it and start playing. Everyone that we do, at game shows and booths, they really pick up on it fairly
Okay.
easily. So it's a lot of fun to just do the dive in, crash play, and figure it out, and then you can play one of the more advanced scenarios.
Right, because you were talking about how you have these different case files for every type of...
Yes.
Can you talk me through like one of the case files?
Sure.
Would that be like a spoiler? Is that a spoiler?
A little bit. We'll do the demo.
We'll
We're
do
gonna
the
do.
demo
Okay, I was
first
like,
one.
well, we don't want to spoil the whole internet.
So with the case
we'll do
files-
like a team one.
They come in a nice little plastic case, so
Awesome.
you literally do not know what is going to be happening.
Awesome.
It even tells you, hey, you read this.
Awesome.
Then once you've read that, you read down to the next one. You kind of read through the story, tells
Like
you
a
what's going
process.
on. You get down to the bottom, tells you how long it is,
Okay.
tells you to flip the card at the bottom. Then you go through, tells you how to set it up.
I was gonna say, is that that's like the dungeon or
Yep.
the area setup?
How you
going
set up
on?
everything, who to
Okay.
play with, what cards to choose. Every card has a symbol. There's more than one of that type of card, so every time you do it, you can just kind of take the group of symbols out, randomize the cards you need,
Okay,
and do that.
And the setup is changed every case file, right?
Yes.
Cool.
It'll run the map here. Once you get the map in again,
Very cool.
again here it says discard after placement of the encounter cards. So you send your card to the discard pile.
Okay. There's a discard file over there.
You
Okay.
only address one card at a time. So
Okay.
until you
Yes.
meet the condition of that card, you,
You can't
don't
you
flip
can't
it.
move forward. You got to
Right.
do it first.
So
Okay.
it specifically will give you what you have to achieve and if you don't achieve it in time.
Yeah.
So it tells you exactly what's going to happen whether you do or
So
don't.
you know the stakes.
Yes.
Okay.
And there are multiple different directions it can go based on whether you succeed or fail on that particular card. So there are
Okay.
multiple outcomes for each mission.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I am like already stressed. I'm like literally not even playing the game and I'm already stressed. I just get really scared when it's like, what are we gonna do? I don't know what we're gonna do. You have so many options. Like, I gotta play this game. Okay, what's another, what's that card?
Well,
doing?
this one right here, this was telling you how to set this board up.
Okay. Yeah,
And
what's
then
that board?
This
We
is
didn't even talk about
this is the inside board.
it. Okay.
This tells you who the threat marker is.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest one being who the monsters attack first.
Right. Okay.
This is your inside track. These are the clues that you got to cash in
Right.
to get the insight.
Right. Okay.
And this is the impending doom track.
I'm sorry, the impending doom.
Impending doom, yes.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
That is so terrifying. You got the chaos dice, you got the impending
Yeah,
doom
yeah,
track.
Yes. And if you
Jesus.
hit the impending doom before you're ready, the bug boss monster comes out.
Oh
whether you're ready or
no!
not.
Whether you're ready or not, he's just like, well,
Exactly.
What enemies are on the board, what bad things are on the board, he's
We're
just
fighting.
attacking you. Yeah.
okay.
So you want to, essentially the whole entire game mechanic is that you want to get as much information on that boss as possible before he comes out.
Impending doom.
Yeah, because it's significantly harder if you don't.
Oh yeah, well of course.
And
I
there are
figured
cards
you
and things that you can do in the game that will raise this faster than you
Yeah.
probably want it to.
just- So there's like multiple degrees of impending doom.
Yes.
This is hilarious, and I love it.
There's
That's
what's
all
called
I
the
should
Deck
know.
of Doom.
The deck of
The
doom.
Deck of Doom, yes.
Okay, wait. Where's the deck of doom? I just want to see the deck of doom. I
The
just
Deck of
wanna see
Doom
it.
is, did you grab it?
I did not move it.
I want to see it. I want to see it like quake
It's in the box.
in
It's
fear.
in the
I want
box,
want
yeah.
myself to quake in fear as I witness the deck of doom.
So the Deck of Doom is going to give us some really bad results.
Uh-huh.
Mostly.
Uh-huh.
Every once in a while, there's a good one in there.
But mostly bad.
So mostly bad.
I'm living for it. I'm ready. The Deck of Doom.
Yeah.
I see you got a lot of minis here. So you guys, Mantic Games, you guys are really good at making games with minis.
Yes,
So that's like
we're
your main.
primarily a miniature manufacturer.
Ah, the Deck of Doom! This is terrifying. I just want the whole internet to know that this is real scary, and I'm stressed. But I'm also very excited. He's like drowning. He's drowning in like an octopus. How do you even? I'm talking nonsense. You can
It's the
drown in an
tentacles.
octopus. All right, what are some of these? Okay, so there's stuff on the back of these.
Those are the boss monsters.
The boss
different
monsters. These are nice. Love that finish on the cards.
Yep.
Linen finish. Great. Fantastic. Okay, boss monsters. I'm doing the spoilers. I'm witnessing the spoilers.
There you're
I'm not gonna show you guys. I can't show you because like everything's different. I don't want to spoil it on the internet. But these are really cool. The art is really awesome. It looks like it's almost taken like directly
We
from
took
the
it straight
comic.
from the
Is
comics,
that gonna,
yep.
I was gonna say.
Mike Mignola is actually right on board with the game. He is actually drawn, if you have the rule book, he's
Yeah,
actually
the
drawn
cover.
the art specifically for the game.
I'm gonna put the Deck of Doom slightly further away from the rest of the cards so that it doesn't create impending doom on the rest of our discussion for today. Question: what's that blue thing?
Oh, this is just a hole in the floor. Something
It's
may
just a hole.
something may or may not come
Oh,
out of it.
this is just a casual hole in the floor.
Depending on what happens with your case files,
You can fall into a hole in the floor.
or something could come out.
Or something could come out of the hole in the
Exactly.
floor. I love this game. I love all the like suspense. There's so much tension.
Yes.
And like
Lot of
because
bad
all the
things.
case files are different, you really don't know what's gonna
Exactly.
happen. Like,
And they are sealed. Every case is sealed in its own plastic.
that's
bag,
awesome. Wait, so what's going on with some of those minis over there? I
These
see
are the
there's, like, some-
minions.
Okay.
Again, when the cards told you how to populate the minions.
Right. Yes.
And then as you, like, if you look at the encounter card there,
The little
one that we
itty
number
bitty
3
one?
says minion A, so you're gonna find
Oh, I do
minion
see that.
A's
Yeah,
over
minion
here,
A, minion A.
and that minion A is gonna get populated, so we can actually do that. So
grab me two of
Let's
those.
populate
painting.
them.
He goes there, and what's the last minion on there?
Minion A as
Yeah.
well. Yep. Two of the same.
He's like ready to smack you. He's got the
So
smack down.
as you can
Alright.
see with the first encounter, you're right in the face of monsters.
Right in the thick of it.
Right.
Okay, cool. Are there any of them where you're not just immediately in the thick of it?
Some it depends on
Oh,
the card.
really?
Again, yeah.
Okay.
There
so
might
it's
just
like
be some clues in a room.
slightly benevolent dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Or
Interesting.
frogs.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what are those things? What are those
Well,
things?
frogs, as we know in the Bible and everything, frogs are significant signatures of impending doom.
Frogs are.
Sign of bad things
Signs
that
of
are
bad
happening.
things coming.
Oh.
So-
What happens if I love frogs? Is my life
The
just
frog swarms.
Okay, that's
Like
right.
entire-
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
Frog
never
swarm.
mind.
Frog
Oh, sorry,
swarm.
not
Nope.
just one
We're not
frog.
talking about
We're
like
talking
a
about
pet.
Okay, I was like, what about the
thousands of
cute
frogs.
ones? Okay, not the okay. Lots
So
of frogs.
in this game, is the more frogs you get, the faster
That tracker just
the
starts going
tracks
up like
move.
crazy.
So it behooves you to kill the frog swarms whenever you
Gotta
can.
kill the. How do you kill the frog swarms?
They're not
It's
actually
one of your
enemies.
actions.
Yeah, they're not
Okay.
actually enemies. So you have to clear the room of them, and what's important is that you can't get rid of them until the enemies that are in the room with you are already
Are
dead.
already dead. So you
Yeah.
have to. If there was a frog swarm in that room with those two dudes, you'd have to kill
You're
the two
stuck.
dudes and
Yep.
then the frog swarm.
Yep.
I've never hated frogs more in my life.
So the game tries to essentially make you balance resting and healing and clearing the frog swarms, putting out fires, like all kinds of bad things that can happen. So let's say that the minions did some damage to you and you wanted to try to heal that back. You could do that, but then there's what's called a rest phase. So in the rest phase, you have the option to possibly, heal up some damage
Yeah,
and
charge
feel
back
a little
up.
bit better, put out the
Okay.
fires, get rid of the frog swarms. But if you do that, you automatically tick up this counter, the doom counter, by 1. So you have to say, is it worth it for us to try to make this boss come out quicker and heal up a little bit, or do we want to take the risk of keep going?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'll have to play the game and find out.
The,
That'd be
the
cool.
wound mechanic is actually pretty cool because
yeah,
they,
what's
they
that?
have different spaces here down at the bottom of the card, and that's how many they have. So Hellboy's got a little bit more life than
Yeah,
he
what
does.
are, oh, these are health. This is health.
Yeah, those are health cubes. So you take one of these, and these are sorted randomly. You want to keep them face down with the blood dripping marker, essentially.
Love the blood.
And every time they would take a point of damage, you place that on their card.
Okay.
Once it fills up, they're not actually down and out, knocked out, dead yet.
Okay.
Okay. You would then flip the cards that have been placed.
Okay. I was gonna say you said
Yeah.
upside. You said face down.
So as you flip these, you'll see a symbol and a minus next to it.
Is that what that is? The minus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay.
So these symbols match their ability symbols
I
at
was
the top.
gonna ask that. Yeah.
And they start taking negative modifiers to these abilities.
What's this? What is that?
That one's a shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Hellboy,
it's like a crosshair
It's a
with the
bullseye,
thing.
yeah.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Hellboy has the yellow dice for his shoot action, which we
Okay.
said were pretty bad. It's
He's bad
ones
at
and
shooting.
blanks.
Not good.
If we actually flip that one on him, and there's only 3 of these, normally you would downgrade, but since the yellow is as low as you can go, you would actually take one of these away.
Oh,
So it gets worse and worse and worse.
oh, what are you gonna do, Hellboy?
Yeah. If it was his orange, for example, you would downgrade on his defense, one of the oranges down to a yellow.
Oh, what are you gonna do, Hellboy? Oh, I feel like it's like stay tuned next week to
Yes.
see if Hellboy shoots himself in the face. All right, cool. So this game seems pretty neat. I like that there are a lot of varying degrees of play because you don't know what's going on in the game
Sure.
file. What is something that makes this game stand out in the crowd of other games out there right now?
Honestly, I think it's the unknown of the game itself.
Nice.
Because the case files are sealed, they're stacked in a way that you can't read them. I mean, you can read them if you want to be like.
I mean, if you
want to be one of those.
if you
guys.
want to be a party ruiner,
Yeah, if
of
you wanna be
course
one
you
of
can
those
read
guys.
them. Yeah, okay.
If you're one of those who always reads the last chapter of the book first.
Are there legit people like that?
Yes.
Okay, all of you
They
suck.
exist.
If you're watching this stream and you do that, you suck. All right, continue.
And then it just walks you through. So, like you said, you have that. Oh, what's
It's
gonna happen?
I'm
You know,
tense,
what's
like-
there's a hole in the floor. Why is there a hole in the floor?
I don't know why there's a hole in the floor. Did he punch the hole in the
Yes.
floor?
You know what's gonna happen when we kick the door open because we don't know what's on those cards.
Yeah, are these like little doors? Is that what
Yes.
these are?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So, and then I don't want to say it because I don't want to give it.
No, don't give too much away.
No, I don't wanna give too
the
much
best
away.
part about this game is that there's so many things you can discover
Yes.
when you play it.
And then
Definitely
so-
don't give too much away.
You don't know what's gonna happen next until you
Until you
flip
do
the
it.
card over. You know, and even some bold letters. Do not flip this card over till
Yeah,
this
this is the
happens.
back
Do not
door
flip
right
this.
there.
They just want you to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta experience this journey together.
So I think that's a real unique. What's the word I'm looking for?
Element
Like
between the
aspect of the
Element,
game.
aspect of the game. Yeah.
We actually ran some demos at C2E2
Oh, cool.
earlier this year. Pat
That's
and I
crazy. I
both
didn't see all this. YouTube.
And
Wow.
we had, full games, literally the bigger missions with 4 full players and they
Rad.
were playing.
Rad.
And we ran 3 games each night. And all played the exact same scenario. And every single game turned out different.
What?
So it was great
So
to see
there's
that.
there's a very good replayability even after you open the case files and played
Yeah.
through it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I
because
like
there's
that
so
it's
many different
modular.
tracks away you go,
Yeah.
and
It's
the
like real
encounter cards
modular
and the
like
deck of
that.
doom.
Right.
That's cool.
It changes.
So I briefly to ask you guys before because you guys make a lot of minis.
Yes.
What are some other games you guys make that have minis?
The biggest would probably be Kings of War.
Kings of War.
That's our mass battle fantasy game.
Okay. And
So-
several minis too.
Yeah,
Awesome.
tons and tons of stuff.
Awesome.
Kings of War, there's also the sci-fi version of those games, which is Warpath and Dead Zone.
Awesome. I love sci-fi.
Yeah, it's a skirmish game. Dead Zone is, which is based on cubes, which are kind of similar to this.
Oh, really?
It's an 8x8 map, which is kind of nice. There's also Walking Dead,
Walking Dead.
Okay.
Which
Which
is
is-
license for Walking Dead comic.
obviously pretty big with comic fans. So we've got 2 elements where we've got the war gamers who collect, tons and tons of miniatures
Right.
over a really long period of time.
Painting them with the tiny brushes.
Yes.
We also have the skirmish and smaller scale games as
Right.
well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, do you guys focus on more like really long commitment style games, or do you also have like some quick casual games too, or you
Yeah,
kind
we
of all over?
yeah we span the gambit of
That's
that
cool.
with
Yeah,
the
it's-
board game of Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Negan is a short, nice 45-minute board game that we
Cool.
in the Walking Dead universe,
Okay.
all the way up to the Kings of War, which is a giant, anywhere from 2 hours to
Nice.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, so
game.
you guys are like an every kind of gamer company. You
Yes.
got something for
We
everybody.
even got something for role players. With
Even got something for role players?
with our
Ooh,
ter-
what is
with
it?
our
What
ter-
is it?
With our
What-
terrain crate.
What is that?
Terrain crate. It's
Tell me about that.
oh, put this over there.
Oh, it's a big one.
We'll swap.
This is a big one. All right, we're talking about Terrain Crate
So
now.
a terrain crate.
Terrain Crate by Mantic Games.
A couple Gen Cons ago, me and Yona were walking through the dealer hall, and we noticed that there was a lot of dungeon stuff, but not a lot of stuff that you could put in the dungeons.
So what's the point of empty dungeons?
Yeah, so then we decided, well, why don't we make stuff for inside dungeons, because we already make stuff for our board games with tables and chairs and everything, and so we started making a
Oh,
line
yeah.
of
So like if
everything
you
that
just play
connects-
D&D, you can just get this.
Yes.
D&D players, they can use this, it's a huge help for them
Oh.
because all the stuff is designed to fit right within their grid maps
Right.
that they,
It's
bring out.
It's
Right.
built for 1-inch squares.
Yeah,
This
so
is neat.
if you're looking for just some scatter terrain to put in a war game, if you're looking at for D&D and role-playing games and things like that, we have a bunch of different themed boxes and kits. This one is a GM's dungeon starter kit, so it's
So
a
what's
dungeon fantasy themed kit. It's got some
Oh,
heroes,
that's
it's got some
very
enemies. There's a big dragon in there.
Yeah.
Is this like a pile of gold?
Yeah, piles of gold
Are
and
there
treasure
any
that you can
bushes?
use.
Any bushes?
There is a kit that has fences and bushes and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, if you, we have a whole town kit. So it comes with a blacksmith.
I'm
some
like a
market.
shrubbery fan. I'm big on the
Okay.
shrubbery. Like I'm the person who would spend like 20 minutes in The Sims being like, I
Nice.
need to make sure that all my grass is looking like this.
Are
So
you
like,
secretly
I
like a
would
knight of
love,
me?
yes, I would love to have like a shrubbery kit for my D&D group.
We
That's
have
really
fences
cool.
and bushes. It's, we have that. I mean, you get a ton of stuff to start your D&D campaign. You're gonna get figures, enemies, heroes, and a dragon.
There's a spooky mirror.
Doors.
Yeah, spooky.
I'm a
mirror.
fan of the spooky mirror.
Yep.
You know,
We
excellent.
have a wizard study that can come in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they specifically go to all of our games. You know, the door set, if you wanted to get the try and create doors, they would go great with the Hellboy kit because
Okay, right.
instead of using these cardboard pieces, you could upgrade it to actual doors and it just, you know, adds a little bit more immersion to it.
Back to Hellboy, what are some of your future plans for the game? Are you working on any expansions or any like new character release or like what's going on? Up to the best of your ability that you're able to tell. Obviously don't like
Right.
ruin everything. But like if you're coming up with some cool stuff, what is it?
At Gen Con here, we actually just released the first expansion that was separate from the Kickstarter. So it's Hellboy the Wild Hunt. And it's
What's that about?
it's just an entire take on that story arc within the
Okay.
comics.
Okay.
So you've got access to new Hellboy models.
Slightly
um,
touched in the latest movie, The Wild Hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yes.
Saw that the other day. The David Harbour one?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
We had a special for Nimby.
Where did it go?
Yeah, it was- it
all
went
the
really
people's
quick.
pockets.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Well, that's good. No, oh yes,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much all you've got for here. You're just gonna be releasing this.
The Kickstarter had 2 expansions that were built into it.
Right, okay.
So if you didn't pick up on the Kickstarter version, the expansions that are part of that are going to be released, you know, coming up soon. So
Okay.
And we do have some Kickstarter kits that some
Here at Gen Con?
overprints
Yeah,
at
at
Gen
Gen
Con.
Con.
So if
Oh,
you
awesome.
wanted to get in, you'll get the 2 expansions there. The Conqueror
Yeah.
and the BPRD archives come built into the Kickstarter.
Definitely want to
Not
check
in
that
the
out.
base set. And a lot of these cardboard pieces have been upgraded to plastic or resin pieces in the Kickstarter kits.
Nice. And for people watching who don't know, what is your booth number? I should ask that.
835.
835. So you're gonna go on over to 835, play some Hellboy stuff.
Yep.
Maybe
we're
fall
done.
into
We're
a
showing,
hole.
We're showing people how to
Maybe
play
look
the
at some
booth.
shrubbery.
we had such a demand for Hellboy demos yesterday that we actually had to open up another demo table today.
Are you
So
serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is rad.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna be one of those people. I want to play. Seems cool. All right.
It's fantastic.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to the internet about how cool you guys are? I had a lot of fun talking about Hellboy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get a box of shrubbery, and I'm pretty excited
Yeah,
about.
I mean, just
what
come
you
by
guys
the
bring
booth,
next time.
play some Hellboy if you're interested. Again, if you, because a lot of people still don't know about Terrain Crate in the D&D world.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about this a lot.
Yeah, come by.
All my nerd
We have
friends
all
are gonna learn about
types of terrain. We even just are releasing a new set's coming. When is it coming?
Yeah, early next year.
Early next year. That's going to cover goth, modern,
There's a Gothic
sci-fi.
Manor, there's
Spooky
a
terrain.
Yes,
Yes.
haunted mansion kind of
Yes.
Haunted Mansion Graveyard.
That's what I
stuff.
want.
So if you want to do a Dracula
I want
castle,
that.
we're going to have
I just
that
want to do
terrain.
like a Dracula closet.
Yes.
Like, ooh, you thought here's a vampire.
Exactly.
There's some
Awesome.
interesting stuff like there's a mall actually,
There's a
like,
mall?
like a post-apocalyptic, like abandoned mall space.
Like
you
in
know what I
Paper
mean?
Girls.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, that's really rad. Okay, well, I'm excited for all those things. And thank you for joining us today
Well, thank you
and
for having
talking
us.
about your rad game and your rad shrubbery. And I think that we're done. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.